Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Bullshit on TSWS Gaming. I'm Loke7, your host, and joining us today is Ham Solo, Mr. Behind Them Sticks, obviously. Matt likes games, the man that likes games more than anyone alive, and our special guest, the mysterious Mr. Tay Talks. Apparently, he's a bit of a gamer, just a little bit. This week, we have Bungie adding yet another non-pology PDF to the mile-high dumpster fire that is the 2023 non-pology dumpster. Xbox outsells PS5 in Japan again, and BlizzCon is back with a distinctly green tinge to it. Before we partake in this week's session of digital savagery, Ham, what have you been playing this past week?
Let's see. I've been playing Vampire Survivor with the wife, Halo Infinite. I've also been playing Dragon's Dogma, Blitz the League, Starfield. I'm sure I'm missing something. Oh, I played Hellblade, which I'll actually share that real quick. That was actually pretty cool. Yeah, I played Hellblade on in VR yesterday. That was pretty dope. It was definitely dated, but it was dope. It was worth the damn.
Hellblade is dated.
Well, in VR it was a little dated. Like when you see the way the kind of like the way the ground moves, like when she's crawling, it looks like she's in sand when it's mud, and it's a weird look. It looks extra mushy and kind of gross.
Okay,
but the game was still
Matt,
really fun, for sure.
All right, Matt, what you been playing?
Alan Wake 2. But let's see what else. Man, Alan Wake 2 mostly. I mean, Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2, because I didn't finish the first one. I beat that. It was great. And then I went to Alan Wake 2, and that's what I'm playing now. And NBA as well.
All right. Mr. Tay, before we get into the questions where we ask our guests, what have you been playing this past week? Sorry,
I got the Oculus Quest 3 recently.
Talk about it.
It's good. You know what? It's crazy tech. Like it is. I love the pass through mode. Game wise, like I got Beat Saber. You know, I think that's what pretty much everyone gets. That's the standard.
Yeah, I got that game too. As soon as I got mine too,
it's really fun, and especially when you get like your friends and family involved. Like they love it. You know, I think that's it. Kind of has that Nintendo Wii vibe where you get them all into games, right? I tried to get I tried. What's the game called? Contractors, right? It's like a first person game. And I just had a hard time. Like I was getting really dizzy, disorientated. Like if it felt like real enough where like I'm actually taking a step forward. So I was told I need to kind of just like take it easy and then kind of slowly get into it. So I dropped that down and started playing Starfield again. Trying to finish some faction quest lines. So right now I think I'm doing not the UC, the Crimson Fleet. Yes, I'm just like halfway through that.
Oh. It is really good.
You know, I think the UC for me one is the best so far. Freestyle was a bit okay.
Really? Okay, I haven't done the UC one. The UC one feels like I'm being a snitch. It's like, why you have a game where you can play any role? Why are you gonna pick the goody two shoes role? What are you talking about? You can do that with like 98% of the games available. You want, for me at least, the best part about RPGs is I want to go full ham, no pun intended. I want to go full ham, like in the wrong direction. You know, just do everything that is wrong. If there's a chance to kick someone in the nuts, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like in Mass Effect, I never missed a chance to slap
Hit
the
someone, yeah.
reporter. Never. So, yeah, I didn't do the UC one.
Yeah, no, I mean overall, the side quests are good, the faction quests are good, so I should say, and yeah, it's a good game. I'm enjoying parts of it. You know, I'm maybe a little bit disappointed in the Crimson Fleet one so far because everyone seems to be, I don't know, they seem maybe a little bit too one dimensional for my liking. But overall, yeah, it's fun. Oh, you have some pushback for that?
I'm actually kind of interested in what you mean by one dimensional because I love the Crimson Fleet one.
Same.
And what I liked about it is everybody was like I'm wondering if you mean by everyone's kind of like selfish. Or...
Okay, so I guess as a blank statement, I feel like a lot of characters and stuff can be a little bit too one dimensional. Like for example, with your companions, right? They'll all kind of give out to you. So much they'll tell me that I'm a bad person for whatever it is, and so there's not that much range of characters from that angle. From the Crimson so far, there hasn't been anyone I've really spoken to that I think is too different from the Crimson. There was a mission I did, I don't want to get into spoilers, where there was a guy who was kind of interesting, but I don't know, I just feel like they're all very the same. Can't get too much. I don't know. I don't want to go into spoilers, so I'll just leave it as that.
I tell you,
I don't like talking about stuff. Go ahead, go ahead.
I think
get over it, bud.
I mean, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Where I do see, I kind of see where you're coming from because it would be nice to have a little bit of different feeling, but different perspectives. But I feel like you'll get to that. You haven't got to that yet. You'll get to that because there's just some people that you talk to.
Okay.
And it really kind of makes sense towards the end. That's the best way I could put it without screwing you over.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good.
But I think like my favorite one personally is the Crimson Fleet, but I think the best storytelling one is
UC?
No,
Ryujin?
Not Ryujin. Thank you. The Ryujin one I feel like told the thing the best to the point where it felt like you were really making decisions.
I don't know. I disagree. I hated Ryujin so much. And no, let me not say hey. I just thought it was a bit it felt very plain Jane.
That's weird that you felt that because I felt like that was the one that had like the most like kind of
diverse range of missions.
Not really diverse range of missions, but like when it goes to choosing like who you kind of want to root for, you kind of have a lot of choices as to who you do like versus who you don't like and who you kind of want to. I mean, kind of towards the end, it's kind of filters down.
I think that was my thing
a little bit. And one thing I wish I could have did, which I'm not going to really spoil it, but something that you tell the woman at the initial part is what I wish you could have done. But they don't allow you to.
Yeah, I feel like they don't allow you to do a lot of things, to be honest. Like my issue with Ryujin is like there's in the Ryujin quest line, there's two main sides you can take, really. And there's no real benefits to joining one particular side. Like there's no moral high ground.
Going into spoiler territory now.
Okay, my bad. We can
Loke's just salty right now because he ain't seen his Xbox in a month.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah.
So
what's
he's
what's
way
this
behind.
depressing sad story? Go ahead.
Because his brother's rad. That's why.
So
what? Cool as shit.
Cliff Notes. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. My brother's son messed up his Xbox.
Okay.
And my brother didn't have a console. And we live in the real world where you can't just, have the money to buy a console like at any time, right? So he got in touch and I offered my PlayStation 5 and he was like, I'm good. Would you mind giving me or borrowing me your Xbox? And I was like, I kind of play a lot on my Xbox. Are you sure you won't want the PS5? And he was like, I would rather not have a console than have a PS5. So I don't know if you have any siblings, Tay, but he's my brother. What am I going to do? So I sent him the Xbox.
You should have told him to trade this
Oh my
kid.
God. Cozy's.
So I'm currently excuse me. I'm currently recovering, right, from not having an Xbox for a month. So any talk about like Xbox exclusives really bothers me. So that's why I don't want to talk about Starfield. I would like to move on to actually, just start the topics for today.
But hold on though.
You should
was
just
knee
cope,
deep
honestly.
in Starfield.
You
I
should
was
just
knee
cope.
deep in Starfield when I gave him the console.
Cope.
I was playing Starfield all the time. It was
But would you not
affecting
try
even my productivity.
would you not try xCloud though?
Yeah, just cope.
Just
My-
use
my
that's the
xCloud.
joy of Game Pass Ultimate, right?
Just use xCloud.
Yeah.
Huh.
My internet's not great for streaming games. Although I did buy a gaming PC, thanks to Ham's help. And I'm playing a lot of games from Game Pass and also Steam on the PC. So that's something. But I still miss Starfield. Anyways,
Why don't you put
Cozy
that on your
Beluga.
PC? Why don't you put it on your PC?
Yeah, put that PC to work, bud. Make it sweat.
If you use
I
it to
tried.
get
I opened the Xbox app, right? And then I
Mhm.
searched for Starfield and it didn't show up. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's region locked on my for my region on PC. I don't know. But when I go to the Xbox app, a lot of games show up. I specifically searched for Trust me, Cozy. I
You didn't spell it
specifically
right.
searched for Starfield.
that
Yeah,
Texas education.
Lord.
he's
You
looking
know
for
what?
Starfield.
I'm not even gonna ask you. That's such a shitty laugh, Cozy. That is such a shitty laugh. You should be embarrassed of yourself. Welcome in, Sir X-Man says blah blah blah. Yo, Danny Casada, Raichi, Verg Brizzo, P Rodusa, welcome in.
I got some
Oh god, he says
today.
spoil on, man. It's been 2 months. Hell no, don't do not spoil.
No, don't, because
Starfield.
Raijin's the one I haven't completed.
All right, Darren, how's that? Ain't nobody borrowing my Xbox. Straight up. Do you have any siblings, Darren? Why so serious? Welcome in. Says you can play Starfield on GeForce Game Pass. Again, for some reason, it's not showing up on my Xbox. Maybe after the stream, maybe you can. I'll do like the screen share thing, and you and Matt can help me out. Because Cozy's just gonna laugh as I fumble around trying to find Starfield.
If you
It's
go to
funny
the
that
Xbox
you think
store?
you're gonna get a different experience with
I-
me and Matt.
No. What happens if you
Yeah.
go to the Xbox.com?
I went to the
And-
Microsoft. Yeah, I went to the Microsoft store and I tried to buy it there as well, or to download it, and nothing. It doesn't show up. It shows like Starfield, right? When you search, it'll show, but there's no option to like buy or download. I don't know what that's about. But if I search for other games, whether it's in the Xbox app or at the Microsoft store, there's the option to download or buy. I don't understand what that's about. Maybe they're like people in Mozambique
Forza
won't
show
like
up?
Starfield. I don't understand.
Does Forza show up?
What?
Forza, does it
Motorsport
show up?
and Horizon. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
These nuts show up.
Yeah.
Get him.
Welcome, Dark Optimus. Tay, that is Cozy Beluga. Cozy Beluga, that's Tay.
Okay.
Let's
Hey,
get
Cozy,
this
how
show
you
on the
doing?
road.
Also, before
so
we
there's
get
a couple of questions we always ask us.
before we get in
All right.
to talking about what Tay likes and everything like that, just shout out to the folks on Rumble as well, because we're showing our show over there as well. So welcome to TSWS Gaming's Bullsitting. We do this every Friday. This is just the first time that we've been on Rumble. So just one, or the first time we've had this show on Rumble. So
Oh,
just wanted to
yeah.
welcome the folks that are over there or
Cherries are popping.
may watch the. Oh yeah, definitely. So to the folks that are watching from over there as well, welcome to the show. Whether you're watching it now or on the recap.
Oh, yeah. Recap.
Right. Welcome in, Dark Artemis. Says what up. All right. Tay. So there's a couple of questions we ask. Excuse me. There's a couple of questions we ask all of our guests at the beginning of every show. No pressure, right? Right. Just give us your honest opinion. We will not judge you. We will not mute you for the rest of the show.
We will judge you.
Just feel comfortable to just respond with whatever comes to your heart or mind. All right.
Fire away.
So the first question.
What's the first question?
Nice.
And this can be like a long story or a short one. Go ahead.
You cut out. Look.
Yeah, I missed the question. Sorry.
You said the first question and you cut out.
Yeah. All right. So the first question is, how did you fall in love with gaming? This can be a short answer or a long one. Go ahead.
It's probably my earliest memory, which is so I was in Nigeria. I was in my cousin's place, and they had like the Game Boy right there, the black and white one, the colorless one, and I was playing Street Fighter on the NES, and so that was probably the first game that I probably really got into. And then from the NES, obviously, they moved on to N64 and the PlayStation 1. And I never really got into the PlayStation 1. Didn't really like those games too much. I wasn't a fan of the games everyone else was playing too much. But with the N64, I know games like Mario Tennis, WWE, No Mercy. It was these kind of games that kind of like got my attention. So then I became like a Nintendo fan, which then moved me onto the GameCube. And then there was like Metro Prime, Beautiful Joe, Resident Evil 4, Mario Kart Sunshine, like just all the Nintendo games, including like Soul Calibur 2. So I think Nintendo was probably like the platform holder that really got me into games. And after the Wii came out, I just pivoted to Xbox and PlayStation. And at that point, I just became like pretty much just a general gamer. I just played every console. But prior to that, I was primarily Nintendo focused. So, yeah.
Okay, but if you could pick one game that made it like
game
that made the impact where you sat there and you're like, oh, I'm probably going to be doing this for the rest of my life.
That's a good one.
What
I think
cemented it for you?
I feel like there's a few games that comes to mind. I think Zelda Wind Waker was a game that kind of gave me that adventure feeling. That I was thinking to myself, like, okay, games are more than fun. You could actually do things. You could go talk to people. I remember when I finished like a mission in Wind Waker, right? And I would go to Dragon Roots Island just to go see how the locals are doing. So it was that kind of me doing those kind of interactions kind of changed the way I would look at games. And I think Halo, the first Halo game, was probably the first one where like you felt like you were like some type of action movie guy or whatever, right? You know, you got the gun, you got Cortana talking to you. So I don't know. I think I kind of pivot between Zelda and I also pivot between Halo, but I'll probably just say Halo. The first one.
Halo.
Not bad.
All right. So that'll take us to the next one, which is okay. So the difficulty is now increasing a little bit. What is the best game of all time?
Best game of all time. The first game that popped into my head was Persona 5. And it's a close one to Xenoblade as well. Xenoblade Chronicles. Great experience. Really thought-provoking narratives. And I always go back and forth between Xenoblade and Persona 5, but I think I'll give it to Persona 5 just because the character development is so good in those games. You got all these different characters. Sorry, go ahead.
Weeb.
You got all these different characters.
Get him, Cozy, get him. Oh, sorry.
Well, are you a Persona fan?
Persona 5. No.
Oh, you hate Persona?
I'm not Persona. No, I don't hate Persona.
Oh, you're neutral.
Like Indifferent completely.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm talking about like, obviously just the characters were just really interesting. It was good. Quite different as well. I think it kind of it gives you a different range of characters with different types of it kind of plays on their stereotypes, but at the same time it kind of lets you know that they're more than that. So even though like the other characters might view them, like the other NPCs in the game might view them as your typical jock, typical blonde, sexy girl who's dumb, like all these little stereotypes, but they kind of surpass that and go beyond that. So it's a very emotion. I don't know how to phrase it, but it kind of gets at your emotions. The story aspect of it. Gameplay is a bit okay. It's not special, but yeah, it's what really carries the game is the story and the world building.
Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles. All right. The next question is, what is the best console of all time?
GameCube. I think that was probably Nintendo's best for me because it kind of it straddled the line perfectly well between Nintendo's quality exclusives and also third-party support. So I think third-party support, I think of games like Capcom supported, with the Factor 5, I believe that's what it's called. So you had like Piano 3, you had Resident Evil 4, you had Beautiful Joe. There's another game, Phoenix Rising, I think, but I think that might have got cancelled. And I think it was probably the last console I remember when Nintendo had a wider range of third-party support. Like I feel like I could see maybe an Assassin's Creed game on that. I could see maybe the Batman games or the Spider-Man games. But then as soon as you go to the Wii, then everything just kind of changed. Not saying the Wii is a bad console, it just necessarily wasn't a console for me and probably a lot of people out there too. Mr. Joe on the dock.
I'm sensing a theme here. So yeah,
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is game of the year. Yeah,
the last
for sure.
question. I think I know.
I love the GameCube. The GameCube was hot.
I think I know.
And Eternal Darkness is the best game on GameCube in my
Eternal Darkness as well. That's another classic. Nintendo just did a really good job with the GameCube. That's why I was so baffled when they didn't jump to the GameCube 2 and they jumped to the Wii instead. It was a boggling decision, but when you look at this, react to the situation, PlayStation was doing really hot. And it was quite clear that Xbox was going to move on from the Xbox to the Xbox 360, and that was going to really dominate. So at that point, I think it just made sense. They had to do it to survive.
All right. So I have $5 that says that I know exactly who you're going to pick for this one, but let's see. Let's see if I'm wrong. Tay, the fourth and final question for you. What is the best current console between the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox Series S or X, or the PS5 digital or CD?
PS5. I'll say PS5 because I think.
Oh, okay. I guess I lost.
I know you just lost $5. I know you just lost $5.
Okay. Yeah. All my money was on Nintendo. I was like, this guy's gonna pick the Switch. Just watch.
No, because I stayed away from the Wii. Well, I had it, but I didn't it wasn't my main console. Neither was the Wii U. But the reason why I said just the PS5 is because I think in the last 3 years, when it comes to exclusive, just specifically exclusive content, they've been ahead pretty much. I think when you think about 2020, what was it? You have Miles Morales, you had Ghost of Tsushima, then you had The Last of Us 2, you had Demon Souls, then you had like Returnal, then you had Ratchet and Clank, then you had God of War, then you had Horizon Forbidden West. Move on to 2023, you had Final Fantasy, you had Baldur's Gate 3 shown up as a sort of de facto exclusive for the meantime, and then you had Spider-Man 2, which is rated higher Metacritic. Like they just been dropping top quality games after top quality games. Now I don't have a PS5 myself. I'm an Xbox guy, but if I was to judge their exclusive consoles, the PS5 definitely takes it. I do think that'll change in probably 2024 though, but for now the PS5 takes it.
I'm shocked. I am
really,
shocked.
I don't really think so. I think they have the games.
They have them. Why aren't you playing? On PS5, Mister.
What game?
Because
Hey, Cozy, check your DMs.
What games, bro? And
What
I
games?
love my PS5, but what games? What are you talking about?
I enjoy the PS5 from time to time, but
So wait, out of all those games I just said, which ones do you think was like not good?
Personally, or
okay,
because every
What I think is better to do it from an objective point of view, right? Because like some games,
exactly.
Objective point of view. Go ahead.
Okay, so if you're saying objectively, then you can say all those games are good.
Yeah, but what I mean is like I'm taking like everyone's opinion into consideration, right? As opposed to just mine. So for example, I would say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is game of the year for me when it came out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna say it should win because I know Elden Ring did some amazing things. Someone's gonna put Elden Ring forward. But like when I said like Ghost of Tsushima, that was a big game. When I say I'm talking about the last 2 years, like obviously with PlayStation, so Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy. Like, which one of those games would you say is like not good or average?
Get the Last of Us 2
What do you mean?
Loke doesn't like Last of Us. He doesn't like Last of Us, whatever. I love Last of Us. Ghost of Tsushima is amazing. Spider-Man Miles Morales was amazing.
Spider-Man 2?
Spider-Man 2 is fantastic. Just beat that.
How about Returnal?
Wait. Did we say PS5 or did we say PS4? Because like the first 3 games were PS4 games.
He said 3 years. He said the past 3 years.
I'm talking about the last 2 years. But if you want to focus solely on PS5, I think still PlayStation 5 takes it.
But I mean,
see,
that's fine. That's your choice. That's fine.
Yeah. It's opinion's opinion. You know, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I just like I'm on the other side of it because of the games. Like I choose Xbox in spite of 2022, which was pretty terrible by all accounts, because of the games.
I just like free cloud saves.
That's also
I mean,
nice.
Mr. Jonah, that's I didn't mention Horizon Forbidden West. I played Horizon Forbidden West. I don't like Horizon Forbidden West just simply because of the story, but I'm not going to deny
Sleep, bro.
Forbidden Sleep.
Mr. Joanna Dark doesn't like it either.
Forbidden Sleep, but I'm not going to deny that, because I look at Metacritic a lot when I want to make these decisions, because I can't really give my subjective opinion when I'm recommending things. I need to kind of say like, where does Horizon Forbidden Sleep kind of fit into the whole, top games ecosystem? And I think it's up there. Like, despite me not liking it, it's definitely up there. Like, when the critic is out 84, 85, you can't really like argue with that, right?
I mean, that's an interesting way to look at things. I tend to like, what do you like? Kind of, because I don't like a lot of those games. And like, literally, if someone recommended me those games, I'd be like, shut up and throw it back in their face. Like, literally, I'm like, I don't like those games. So
no, I see what you're saying. From a subjective point of view, for example, the only for me the biggest, I don't care about PlayStation 5 games. The only thing that really mattered to me this gen so far was Starfield. I'm willing to trade Starfield for every single one of those PS5 games. That's a very unrealistic take though, because from my point of view, I'm just a huge sci-fi guy. I love the idea of an RPG.
Facts. Thank you. Someone understands.
It is.
That's fair.
But with that said, like, so when people ask me, like, why is Xbox doing so bad in Europe? Why are we seeing these numbers like, in France it's 7-1? Is because no one's crazy about Starfield like that. Everyone in Europe looks at everything together. So it's like Miles Morales, it's all these other games together. That's kind of coming in together. That's making PlayStation tip Xbox at this moment.
I also think in Europe it's just like
that's really not why. That's not why PlayStation is taking over. It's because of their deals for the games people actually care about. Remember, in the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition, we all found out that the biggest sellers, like the top 10 selling games annually, most of them are not PlayStation exclusive. None of these games you're talking about. It's just Ragnarok. That's it. Everything else is Call of Duty,
Forbidden Sleep as well.
It's Madden, it's FIFA. Forbidden Sleep was not in the top 10. Well, I didn't see it, at least. The point
So,
is,
go ahead.
for the point I'm trying to make is that there is a case that it is an objective fact that the PlayStation is outselling the Xbox 7-1 in Europe, but it is a fallacy that has been sold to us for years now, that is because of exclusives. It's really not. It's because when the Champions League is playing, it shows they're sponsored by PlayStation 4, sponsored by PlayStation 5. That's why. So a lot of people get the impression, because a lot of people are not like us, discerning customers that know that you can buy most of these games on the other box. A lot of people look at it and they're like, if I want to play FIFA, I should get a PS4. I should get a PS5. And then they make decisions based off of that. Before you respond, real quick, I need to read this super chat here by Dron TJ. Says, dude, you are crazy. Thank you so much, Dron TJ. Says, dude, you are crazy. LOL, all their games are playable on PS4. Oh, you are crazy. Exclusives, law, all their games are playable on PS4. Only one first-party game this year, Final Fantasy, was a flop.
Well, I mean,
it's not first party.
I think that's a fair point. That
it's not first party. Final Fantasy is first party.
No, it's not. I mean, they don't own Square Enix.
No, it's not.
No, it's not first party. No.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 is PS5 only, though.
I think. Listen, that's a fair point. This, like, Horizon Forbidden West was playable on the PS4. Also was God of War. But I think even when it comes to exclusives, like I remember when I got the Xbox, like I got it when it came out, and the big game was Halo Infinite, and that was cross-gen, you know, and then Forza was cross-gen too as well. Psychonauts was cross-gen too as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and at least on the PlayStation side, when they actually dropped their console, it wasn't great, but they had Demon's Souls as a next-gen exclusive. They had Ratchet and Clank and Returnal as a next-gen exclusive. So they actually gave you reasons to actually buy their console, because it's like you can only get those games on that console, right? Whereas with the Xbox, you could get on the Xbox One. And for a couple of years, there was no difference between my Xbox Series X and an Xbox One until these next-gen games started to come out. So I see what he's saying, but but you gotta apply the same logic to Xbox as well. So
yeah, that whole thing doesn't really, because it's like at that point no one has an exclusive really, except for Nintendo.
Well, I mean, PlayStation with Ratchet and Clank, that was exclusive.
Sure. I mean, but like I'm talking like the games,
the big ones.
like the Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, like that.
Right.
Like for Xbox, obviously, I mean, we have Starfield, which is now only this generation, but like you know, Halo, like you said, and everything, Forza. Like no one really has an exclusive, because on top of that, Xbox games go to PC.
Well,
as
Flight Sim was pretty much like Demon's Souls, where it's like a game that's been before, but remade to be on this console only.
Yes, but I like yeah. My only point was like that. You know, if we're applying that logic, then nobody, I mean, really consistently has exclusives other than Nintendo. So.
The logic that I've been going based on is just what literally the gaming industry has been saying.
Yeah.
2020 was good for PlayStation. 2021, Xbox One Publisher of the Year. 2022, PlayStation 1 Publisher of the Year. 2023, it's looking good for Xbox and starting to slow down a little bit for PlayStation. 2024 is looking scary for PlayStation.
I think 2023 has been really good for Xbox. I think even from the Game Pass front, they've had some really good quality games, and I was really impressed with the momentum when it, like, Starfield drops, and then you have
that momentum,
Dark Tides, and then you had Lies of P, and then you had Forza dropping. Like, that's consistent. But in the first half, it wasn't that great. But you know, they're doing really good this time.
Wait, the first half wasn't great.
I think
was that game they shadow drop Hi-Fi Rush did not
Loke's so angry he's botting.
Like 2 weeks.
Loke's furious.
I'm just saying, do we not lose our shit for 2 weeks because of Hi-Fi Rush? No, that's it.
I mean, okay, I'll put it this way: with
that was January, right?
Yeah, I think you're still clipping out though.
It was January.
I'll put it this way with Hi-Fi Rush. When we talk about the first half, I think Hi-Fi Rush did really good. It was a great game. I think it gave Xbox a huge momentum boost. But would you argue that Redfall destroyed it and actually took a few steps backwards? Because I think the momentum you go with Hi-Fi Rush was good. It was great. But then I think Redfall really, really messed everything up. I don't mean it made it into a stalemate. I think it actually pushed everything back because now you have the Xbox CEO going on kind of funny and he's saying things that people are confused about. As people said, it was Xbox first 70 euro game. So now there's this narrative that's completely destroyed. And it
that was bad
on the back foot. Yeah, it was really bad. So I don't think Hi-Fi Rush's high points equate to Redfall's low points. I think Redfall is way worse. So I think it kind of makes the first half a bad.
I disagree.
I disagree with that. Because when Hi-Fi Rush came out,
I think Redfall was.
You're botting there, Luke.
Go ahead.
You're botting there, Luke.
He said, "Go ahead."
Go ahead.
Oh, he said, "Go ahead." I think like for Hi-Fi Rush when that came out, the reason I disagree is when I got on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, I saw like influencers for the first time in a long, long time since the beginning of the Xbox One generation, pretty much, where influencers like prominent people within YouTube were making content based around Hi-Fi Rush. Where like these are people who are like historically like they do like their Let's Plays and stuff. They're usually only playing on PlayStation. And then this game comes out of nowhere and now these people with like millions of subscribers, hundreds of thousands of subscribers are now talking about Hi-Fi Rush. Whereas Redfall comes out and it's like, yeah, it stinks. And the point you brought up of it being the first $70 game, that's the worst part for me. Is that was their first $70 outing. But I don't think that was more negative than Hi-Fi Rush was positive.
Well, I think I look at it in two ways. The first thing I'll say is did Hi-Fi Rush's sales, including Game Pass plays, was it that great? And I think we saw rumors that like, Xbox wasn't too happy with it, whatever. I don't really know too much about that. But I think that kind of tells you that even though it was a good game, there was something that I probably didn't meet those milestones that they probably expected. Whereas what I do know is a lot of people I know who don't really know games too much or play games too much, they had Redfall in their minds. Like, I think that was a complete disaster. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm seeing Xbox guys really, hardened Xbox fans really upset with that release.
Absolutely.
Sure. I think that hurt. Yeah, I think that hurt their image way more than Hi-Fi Rush did any good. And even if we're going to argue that like it was equal, the damage I think Redfall did, it completely stopped the momentum. And
I agree.
And then at that point, now the pressure's on Starfield unnecessarily, right?
I agree.
Yeah, and now you got another asking Todd Howard in an interview, "Oh, how do you feel with Xbox's pressure on you?" And he's like, I think Redfall was really bad. Plus, it also damages Bethesda's reputation because everyone's like, "Oh well, Bethesda again," and then it's a question of, if you think about it, Sony gets Deathloop, which wins Game of the Year, 91 Metacritic, 88 Metacritic. They get Ghostwire Tokyo.
Well, it didn't win Game of the Year, but it
didn't win Game of the Year, no?
No,
I think it was not. It was nominated.
Game of the Year.
It was nominated, but it never won. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's up there. It has crazy scores, right? And so Sony gets the best of Bethesda, and then Microsoft finally, after 2 years of waiting, and what they get from Bethesda is Redfall. I think there's an image play here where it really hurts Xbox image way more than what Hi-Fi Rush does for it. But
okay, I completely disagree. But let's read some super chats. Drawn TJ $2 super chat. Thank you, bruv. Says, what is Sony doing for their fans this year? One game. I'm assuming you forgot to put the question mark at the end. By the one game, we're talking about exclusives right now. Mr. Joanna Dark with the $10 super chat. Thanks, bro. Says Xbox has received criticism for releasing their own versions of director's cuts, while the PS5 has mainly focused on re-releasing older games. Only Returnal is new, and best game they acquired, not made. Big Mad Moore has a question. They said it hit every metric. Did we just forget about everything that came out on Xbox this year? First party alone. All right. Why So Serious wants to ask you about Quantum Era, Tay, but I'm guessing we will get to that eventually. Let's hope we have time for that. Ham, I sent you a DM. I would like for us to tackle a little hot potato here that I was not aware of when the show started. Have you checked your DMs on Twitter?
Ham stepped away.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. He's not here. All right. Well,
no, but I heard you. I heard y'all.
All right. Did you see the DM? All right. Check it real quick. I think it's relevant. I think this is something we need to look at. Because
let's look at that.
Let's look at it. Let us look at this crap face to face. Stare it right in the eyeballs. Ladies and gentlemen, IGN.
Don't forget to say you're beloved, right? Don't forget to say you're beloved.
Stop being a prick, Ham. I've stopped calling
famous
it my beloved
IGN.
for almost a month now, ever since the issues that's been going on. So don't do this to me, all right?
The issue's been going on a lot longer than a month, bud. I'll tell you that.
You know what? Just like Pilot, I have washed my hands. All right. I know nothing about this. Anyway, IGN have rated Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 4 out of 10.
Damn, it's a banger.
The summarized review says underbaked, rehashed, and cobbled together from multiplayer parts. Modern Warfare 3 single-player campaign is everything a Call of Duty mode shouldn't be. I would like to go at this first, and then you guys can knock yourselves out. First off, underbaked. Every Call of Duty campaign has been underbaked for the last 15 years. Rehashed? Are you kidding me? Just last year, we had Modern Warfare 2. They don't even bother to rename it and give it a different. They just said Modern Warfare 2. And that didn't get a 4. Okay, cobbled together from multiplayer
it almost got
parts.
Double the score, actually.
Again, Call of Duty has been cobbled together for at least a decade now. All right. The single-player campaign is everything a Call of Duty story mode shouldn't be. Are we forgetting that they've been doing this for a decade plus? Are we forgetting, what was it, Call of Duty Ghosts or something? There was a Call of Duty that was released a couple of years ago with 0 campaign, and it didn't get a 4. This is the type of stuff that when people sit there and say there is something called the Xbox tax, this is the type of stuff that they use as weaponry, because it's like everything you say, we can break down the entire review like piece by piece by piece, and it's shit and shit and shit. That's all I have to say. Ham, you go first.
I'm just not surprised. I mean, it's kind of a shoulder shrug over here for me when I see score from IGN. I just don't. I don't really take it too serious. Like when I see like the lower the score from IGN, it seems like the more I want to play the game. It's kind of weird. Usually, I don't get that feeling. What happened? How did Cozy end up out of the stage? But anyways,
bad luck. Actually, my browser crashed probably because I have like 5 tabs and like each tab. No, I have like 5 windows and like 80 tabs per window.
Well, that's just not bright.
That's a lot of processing. My God,
good time.
That's unnecessary, but you know.
But yeah, I'm already sold on this game. I didn't need their score, and I feel like that is part of the reason they score this like this is because it's just like I don't know they feel like they need to. And in my opinion, it seems like they want to try to make a difference here so many years after they've already been caught red-handed being screwy, right? So if you looked at the way that they scored, not just Starfield, but also you look at like Spider-Man, just Spider-Man on PS5. So I'll use even a PlayStation example with it. I think they're trying to like toughen up on scores, and I think Starfield, or better yet, the acquisitions, plural, made by Microsoft is making IGN kind of, I don't know, have a midlife crisis, I guess. In the way that they kind of score and go about their games, because I'd say it's been different each year, more drastic than the last from IGN and how they rate and go about their games. So that's just my personal opinion on it, but it seemed like, and I'm gonna keep it a buck here. I feel like Spider-Man would have got a better score if they were willing to give Starfield a better score, but they didn't want to overscore Spider-Man, seeing that what they just did to Starfield. So now they're stuck. Now they're stuck in now they're in this like ideology period of thinking that they are now truth or telling the truth from now on. So you're going to see more lower scores on a regular base than a crazy high score. I could be wrong, but I'm interested in seeing what you guys kind of think of what I just got done saying.
That's an interesting take on it, because I feel like, I mean, they don't want to piss off. Well, I guess they kind of do for clicks, but
yeah,
IGN does
big piece of it too.
IGN does this thing where, and to be fair, not just IGN, just publications in general, whether it's games, whether it's news, whether it's anything, they do this thing where it's tailor made to get the attention of one group. First, for IGN, first it was Starfield. You got the attention of Xbox players for giving that 7 out of 10. For Spider-Man, you got the attention of PlayStation players for giving that 8 out of 10. And then they do this thing where they intentionally do something like that, and then now they're just kind of in this, I mean, for a while now, even before all that, they're just kind of in this hole where they're just trying to go back and forth of pleasing people while also pissing them off at the same time. And that's why I don't really care. I don't take IGN seriously. Like because I saw this pop up before the show on my Twitter feed.
That's a bit much.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Because like I saw this pop up on my Twitter feed. And I'm like, this isn't 4 out of 5. This is 4 out of 10, right? They do a 10 scale, like a 10 rating scale. So 4 out of 10, how? Like how? I'm like, I get if Call of Duty campaigns aren't for you, that's fine. That's whatever. And sure, you can say they're.
Keep in mind, Mac, that goes with the 7.6 that they gave Modern Warfare 2. So I want to know where it dropped.
Exactly. Like the only criticism that I've seen that I think is very valid for Modern Warfare 3's campaign is the length of it. It's apparently very very short, which is like, I get that. I get not liking that, especially at $70. I understand that. But
Man,
like,
Ray Chi is cold, bro.
I don't know. What do you say?
Bro. Rachie said COD got the Xbox status debuff. That's a good one. That's a good one, Rachie. Also, before we get too close to the end of the show, Tay, please pay attention to the chat, right? Because somewhere close to the end, we're going to need you to pick someone to be our lucky winner of the $10 voucher for either Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation. Pick someone that stood out to you, whether it's positive or negative, whatever reasoning you want to use. Pick someone out, so they can get a $10 voucher.
Yeah, sure.
Tay, go ahead. Give us your take on the 4 out of 10.
Yeah, so 4 out of 10 seems a bit wild, but whenever like I see these scores, I always want to read the review to see, because I think scores are actually just irrelevant. It's nonsense. To understand the review, you have to read it, and then you can actually find out what makes this person tick. So, like, I mean, I just did a quick scheme, but it says this sandbox approach doesn't fit with what I'm looking for in a Call of Duty single player story at all, and it feels at odds with what made the original Modern Warfare trilogy the height of the cinematic shooters.
That's bad starting.
It's a bad starting, but then at the same time, then I'm also hearing people say the campaign is like 3 to 4 hours long. Yeah. So if you kind of take into consideration, because he's also saying how like they haven't improved anything. If he's basically saying like it feels like a DLC, it just feels like it's the same game.
Again, that's why I mentioned a COD with 0 campaign that got a much higher score. So what are we talking about?
But then but this is a single player campaign review, right? So I could see why like the multiplayer version could get a high score. But if the single player version you're comparing it to last year and there's no improvement.
Okay. So tell us why this is the first COD to get reviewed this way. All the other CODs, they were reviewed at the same time. Multiplayer and single player, it was one review.
I don't think so, actually. No, I think they split it into different parts before. No?
I wish someone could show me a link. Someone in the chat that has the time, send us a link of a previous COD that did this. But go ahead, finish your point. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Vanguard got a 7.
So just looking at his
the campaign,
just the game itself, it got a 7.
Vanguard doesn't deserve a 7. There's just no plan.
The one that
IGN specifically.
7. The one that had like crippled people that had special attachments that didn't make any sense.
The one that had monstrosities of weapons.
All right. No. You know what, Tay? Go ahead, finish your point.
Do you think, for example, that with the single player score, along with the multiplayer score, along with whatever zombies, whatever they add together, if that brings it up to a 7, does that sound reasonable? Because I could see why he might hate the single player campaign. I think it's a low score. I think 4 is ridiculous. I don't think 4 it doesn't make sense to me. But if you take the whole game into consideration, so the other parts of the game, is it a 7? Does that then make more sense? That's what I'm pretty much focusing on.
You know what I don't like discussing? I don't like discussing possible scenarios in these types of situations. I like discussing possible scenarios when you're discussing like fantasy things that you'd like to see in a game, right?
All right.
Right now, my focus is, has this ever happened for any previous COD game? Has this ever happened for any other game? Like, did they ever do a review of like FIFA, right? FIFA, this is the my player review. This is the my team review. I want to know, has this happened with Battlefield? Has this ever happened? Someone in the chat, look this up and send it.
I think it has, to be honest. I feel like it has. I'm trying to find it here, but from my memory, I think it does have. Because even I just type in like multiplayer review, and I'm seeing people like,
because
Modern Warfare
I love
multiplayer
me.
review.
I love me IGN, guys. This is
I'm
hurting
out.
me.
So I just looked up. And this is all this stuff takes is a quick Bing or Google search.
Bing search.
Please tell me this has happened.
Modern Warfare 3 is in the current one, not the old one. The current one is 5 to 7 hours.
Oof, that's long.
I looked up the shortest Call of Duty, and I'll share this. I'll actually share this in real time because I mean, why tell everybody all this stuff? You might as well just see it for yourself.
All the chat.
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah, exactly right. You might as well just see the BS for yourself. This is
upsetting me. This is upsetting me.
So,
because this is the type of stuff that people then start dogpiling on me on Twitter when I say some shit defending.
How
like no, this is no
everyone knows you're a pony though, so of course you're gonna defend it.
I don't care, Cozy. I don't care what people think, honestly. But what I don't like is representing the losing side. All right, it's bad enough. There. I support Man United and the Raiders. Okay, it's bad enough.
Damn.
And the Lakers. It's been rough for me.
Right here, look. Search bar. How long is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 2023 campaign?
Okay.
Around 5 to 7 hours.
Okay.
Okay. What is the shortest Call of Duty? Yeah, right there. Which Call of Duty has the shortest campaign? Bam.
Okay. Is it Vanguard? Are you telling me it's Vanguard?
I can't even confirm that because I started Vanguard's campaign and I didn't even want to finish it.
Wait.
What Mike?
What was wrong with the campaign?
Mike.
It was just terrible.
Sure. You just need to change your standards.
It's at lower them a whole lot.
Matt, check what Mike says in the chat. He's like, Loke protecting that Xbox IP. Let's celebrate. Never thought I'd see the day. He's almost home, boys.
Right.
Y'all need to stop. You need to stop.
Everyone's favorite pony.
He's seen
okay, so we've come to the conclusion that Vanguard is the shortest one, correct? Or maybe we should do the search on, I don't know, freaking Google, because if
there we go. I just had to take the word witch out. Just Call of Duty has the shortest campaign. Black Ops Cold War, right here, and it says
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours, and then the next one is Vanguard with 5 hours. So this isn't new.
No, it's not.
This isn't news. This is just rehashed to turn into a problem. Like that's what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah, so I think I see I don't know much. I haven't read the whole review of the IGN guy. I'm not even focused on the campaign, on the length of the campaign itself. I'm more probably focused on the actual story and gameplay. Probably was it good? Was it enjoyable? So I feel like a lot of the times I know we see these scores and we get like angry, upset. I guess the reason why I'm so detached from it is because I just ignore every score. I don't actually care about any score. I read the review is good, and the review is good. Like when I read
wait, hold on. Did you not say like 30 minutes ago that you really care about the Metacritic scores?
I think Metacritic, because Metacritic is taking all the established media, everyone's opinion into one score. I think that kind of tells you exactly more or less where the game stands. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be something. It's kind of like when people say, for example, the league table doesn't lie. No, I don't know if you guys watch football or soccer.
I watch football. Don't you dare call it soccer.
Sports
Don't you dare.
I'm with some Americans. So I'll just saying.
Sports ball.
But you know what I mean, right? If you win, you get 3 points. If you draw, you get 1 point. If you lose, you get 0.
I don't know what that means.
At the end of the season,
Bettis.
at the end of the season, it's going to be a clear picture where you are on the table. And I think Metacritic is quite similar to that. Now, there's going to be outliers. There's going to be people who's going to give the game a 10, people who are going to give the game a 3. But I think at some point, it all correlates together to give you the score that it probably deserves.
I disagree. Rachie with the $2 Canadian says all shooters worth playing are now on Game Pass. Okay, good luck with that one. Back from the Dead says Metacritic only shows how much people want to review bomb games. Okay, so Tay, when you say Metacritic, are you talking about the reviews from like journalists, or are you talking about gamers' reviews?
I'm talking about journalists. I mean, you could kind of factor in some gamer scores, but I think those ones are a bit too abusive, to be honest. So I wouldn't really look at that too much. It just depends.
Those
but
are
like
damaged.
But there's no game that I've seen on Metacritic, majority that I've seen on Metacritic where I think that score is wild. Like that's completely insane. I think if a game gets 84, it's probably in the region between 83 and 85. Probably. If a game gets 88, it's probably in the region between 87 and 89. I could see how you could come to that conclusion. So, like even with like Baldur's Gate, for example, right? I don't think anyone thinks that game. Like, I personally probably don't think it's a 97 Metacritic, but I can see why you might want to give it that.
What do you think it is?
No, I haven't played it, but I've seen my friends play it. I think from what I've seen, probably a 9.10.
Jesus.
So I'll probably give it a 90, right?
What?
90.
Baldur's Gate 3.
All right.
Oh, I
It's
get
Wait. Sorry. So I think the game has sold like 20-something million copies. Number one. On Steam, it's reviewed highly.
It's a must play.
You think it's a 7? Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay, here's why. But I would recommend it to people. I can't give a game any higher than what you call it. Like, if I have no interest in playing it.
Oh no, yeah, but I'm asking for what's your objective take on it?
There is no objective take. I would recommend it to people but I would not be like, oh yeah, I rate this game highly.
I mean, we'll put it this way, yeah. I don't play Forza, right? Horizon. I have no interest in playing that game. But would I say that game is a 9 out of 10? Probably. I think for the racers, people who enjoy those kind of games, it is. But I wouldn't say it's a 7 because I don't play racers. You get my point?
Then how can you know if it's a good racer if you don't play racers?
Because I'm looking at the combination of everybody's opinions on the game. Like I can't, if you like fighting games, and I don't like fighting games, I'm not going to say Street Fighter's a 6. I'm going to say, you know what? From what I see, this game is probably really good. It's probably the best fighting game out now. So I think for example, Street Fighter probably deserves its score, even though I don't have it, right?
It's like that argument that me and you always have, Cozy. Can you say a game is great if you haven't played it? Or can you say, oh, this is the game of the year if you haven't played all the games that were released this year? Like at some point you need to be able to step back and
it's always going to be your opinion.
Yes. But see, so now we're
great for the
veering
people
to
who
that
liked
argument,
it.
Cozy.
But
We're
if someone
getting
hands
close
me
to
a
that
game that I
about
don't want to
objectively
play,
good games.
what I'm saying is the game
we're
can be
now
objectively
getting to that
good, and you can be like, hey, here's a good game, play this, and I'm gonna throw it back in your like if you gave me Baldur's Gate 3, I'm gonna throw that back in your face. Like, I don't want to play this garbage because to me, it is garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like handing me the best cherry tomato ever. I don't like tomatoes.
Like, I'll give you my own personal example as well. Like, I despise Souls games. I just can't get into them. I think they're a waste of time. I think they're too difficult. I played Demon Souls. After a couple of hours, I lost my mind. I got irritated. When Elden Ring comes out, there is no way in hell I'm going to say, like, I've watched the videos. I've seen, like, I think what From Software is trying to do, I think they executed it well, perfectly. I just don't like those games. But I would never say, well, Elden Ring is a 7 out of 10. Like, I can't say that.
Yeah. You see, this guy has sense, Cozy. You need to follow someone that actually says the same things as me. All right?
That's
Pay
why
attention.
we already had the conversation about
That's
I don't
not a
really
good.
like to rate
That's not a
games.
good way to
I
sell
just
that.
rate them on whether I would play them or not, and whether I'd recommend them to someone or not. That's the way I look at it.
Interesting. I find this really interesting because I'm starting to lean on the side of Cozy.
What?
Because you can have the
and here's why.
Okay.
And here's why.
Oh,
we have too many people. No. This is a real issue. We have too many people. We have too many people blindly giving things a pass. We do. We have way too many people blindly giving things a pass. So either it's blindly positively or blindly negatively. We just say, "Oh, I see how everybody seems pretty happy. This is great." But like at some point it's like you don't really know what you're talking about at all. You don't know what you're talking about, but it's part of the aggregate. And it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So if you rate something based off of viewers, like, man, I see. No. Time out. Look, let me finish. If you rate something based off of, man, like that LSU versus Iowa game got just as many views as a World Series game. That tells you exactly what's going on right there. That tells you exactly who really likes it and who doesn't give a damn about it. So that's how it gets rated in, is this making a jump to be better than this all of a sudden? Is women's college basketball now more interesting in certain aspects than Major League Baseball at its finest? No, I'm not even capping. This was World Series numbers.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, and I laughed my ass off when ESPN was reporting that.
But you laugh at it. You laugh at it, but but people will still look and put their hand over their eyes and say it's America's greatest still. And it's clearly not. It's clearly not. So in that aspect, I'm starting to kind of side with Cozy, because it's just like, how many times are we gonna take your word for it, knowing that you had nothing really weighing whether this is good or bad? You're just kind of just following the herd. You have no ideas if you like carrots, but you gave it a thumbs up.
Can I ask you a question, man?
Sure.
Let's say you work for IGN and pick any game that you're not really. Well, any any established media firm, right? The Guardian, whatever it is, Forbes.
Go in there and save it.
How would you review a game? Let's say football, FIFA, or or FA. Maybe you don't play, maybe you don't like it. How would you review that game for the audience? Would you give your subjective take in the sense that, like, I don't like FIFA, I don't like EA, I don't know how to play this game, 4 out of 10? Or would you try to go from an objective point of view and say, you know what, I have a due diligence to the people who like this game, so let me actually consider different elements. Let me actually try to play the game and enjoy it.
Well,
you being objective or you being subjective?
In that aspect, I'm asking you, why are you giving it to me knowing that I don't like this type of game?
Yes.
I'm asking you that first of all.
Okay.
And then second of all, I'm saying, well, you're going to get the review of somebody that doesn't like this type of game.
Okay. Would you qualify that in your review? That
Absolutely.
I don't like FIFA.
Wouldn't I be a fraud if I didn't?
And I
tell people all the time when I say Persona is an awesome game. When I tell people that, I tell them also, I don't like turn-based.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. I don't like turn-based, but Persona was dope. I don't like Souls games, but Elden Ring was hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that is like straightforward. but then I'll also tell you, Bloodborne is dog shit. To me, it is. I don't like the game. I didn't really love Liza P so far either. Everybody's loving Liza P. To me, it's just like Bloodborne 2.0, and I don't really care for it that much. And it might have more action pieces or more cool things about it than the older predecessor, the older game. But it's not my. At the end of the day, Souls game is still not my jam. So when something comes out of the way, and I'm ending up paying for it, and then I end up beating it within a month of something that I hate traditionally, I'm giving it a better score than I would give something that I like Demon Souls or any of that stuff, because I picked the game up, played it for 4 or 5 hours, and said, nah.
I actually agree with you. I think to answer your first question, which is, why am I reviewing it? Well, let's just say, like, from a strictly business point of view, you have a company, you got like 3 reviewers, there's 5 games dropping, you got to get the ad revenue, you got to do something. So someone has to review it. So at that point, it's like, okay, sorry, you don't like this game, but you got to review it. It's your job. So then you do it, right? So that's one. 2, I actually agree with your second point, which is you qualify that in the review. And I think what I'm seeing is, like, people don't read reviews, so they miss that qualification. They just see the score and they get angry. But in that review I just read, he's telling me he hates the fact that the game feels like a DLC. He's telling me that nothing has changed. So he's actually qualifying his feelings for you. So then that score can be justified. Now, if you see that review and you read it and you think to yourself, well, you know what? I actually don't mind more of the same. Then you could then qualify that from a 4 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Do you get my point?
Well, let me take that bag and run with it.
Go ahead.
Then stop saying IGN on your title. Use that person's name. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to use 10 different, if you're going to use, no, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious, because that's the only way you can understand the consistency behind it. That's the only way you can understand the consistency behind it. Because if I have Todd interviewing, Spider-Man, he loves Spider-Man, he gives it a great score, and then I have Jerome over here, testing out Starfield, but he hates sci-fi games, but I put IGN on the front of both of those. It's like, what the fuck? What kind of sense did I just make?
I think you should look at it like I don't even focus on that it's IGN, right? I would look at it more of a case of like who's actually reviewing it. So, for example, if it's
but
Ryan,
that's dishonest to ignore that it was published on IGN, bro.
But I'm focused more on the personalities.
It's not to ignore. It's saying this person's name by IGN, by the score, instead of just IGN 8.
Right.
Ham.
Well, you see, I think the way you get around that. So go ahead, man.
It reminds me of like a sports analogy. Sorry, Cozy. Ham, that's like trying to divorce Austin Rivers from the Lakers. Austin Rivers is relevant, right? His little crossovers, they're only relevant because he plays for the biggest brand in basketball. That's the only reason, right? So
Austin Reeves?
Sorry, I meant Reeves. See, that's how relevant he is. Okay, so if Loke7, right, makes a blog and then posts it up there and gives a Call of Duty 4 out of 10, it doesn't have the same impact as Loke7 makes a review and gives it a 4 out of 10 on IGN.
Yes, it does, though. But the problem is they don't do that already, so you don't get the notoriety for it. If they did that by the person every single time, you may have a person that you specifically follow for every review because you have the exact same taste as they do. And they post that on their Twitter from IGN with their name on it every single time. They do that. Then, there is a way, but it's weird to me. Listen closely here. look, it's weird to me that I'm hearing an IGN, a person that writes for IGN saying they should just put us in a box instead of listing us individually for our scores and then coming out with the aggregate from that. Like, to me, that's just more realistic. It's just like you're talking to the person at IGN that loves these kind of games versus all the way down to the people that don't like this type of games at IGN.
So
come on.
So this speaks to Tay's point about labor versus production. So you have literally, right? I can't give you a specific number, but I'll give you a realistic workload that appears at sites like IGN. 20 games are available for review this week. There's 7 of us. What you are proposing, right, is that all 7 of us play all 20 games, and then our average review, right, for each game is then the actual review. That is not realistic. Like, on the ground, it's not possible. That's why
that's fair. But you could also have a team that does these kind of games. Like, I have a team for each genre that goes out and does this type of stuff. Like, I don't.
That's what
happens.
happens.
Like to me, there is a
That's
way
what happens,
to. No, it's not what happens, because this article is written by one person. The score is based off of that person, right?
Let me interject. Many times the article is written by Loke 7, but Loke 7 hands it off to his editor, right? So right there, you've already got 2 people. And then many times also, when it's big AAA games, because it's a it's almost never just Loke 7 and his editor that looks at it. There's more people that are put into the whole review cycle of this specific article. So I wasn't part of this team. I don't know anything about this specifically. What I'm saying is, for a game of this magnitude, I can guarantee you, Ham, it was more than 2 people on it.
Then why is the author of 1?
Because they have to credit someone. It is a team job, yes.
You can credit a team. What happens when a team wins a Super Bowl? Do they just give the trophy to Mahomes and then tell everybody else to kick rocks? Nobody else gets a ring.
Hey, when it comes to journalism, it's about the MVP trophy. It's not really about who gets the Larry O'Brien trophy.
That's about what it's been made to become. That's not what it could be.
Oh, well, I'm just talking about the reality on the ground. What it could become, you could go ahead, bro. Tell us what it could become. I'm just talking about the reality on the ground.
I was gonna say, like when I go to that review, it's an IGN review, sure, but then just below the thumbnail, it says by Simon Cardy. Like, so that's that individual, and that's him saying, "This is my opinion. This is my review of this game." And I think let's not deceive ourselves to make it think like we look at everything in a grand scale, because when that Starfield review came out, nobody, like, forget about the score. Everyone said, well, why is this guy reviewing it? Why is Dan Stapleton reviewing it? Why didn't Ryan do it? So we already do know that the specific people that we do respect their opinions more. So I guess I'm just looking at it from a different point of view, where it's like, I don't think we need to, I think these individuals can all be separate. IGN is organization, and in that organization, there's different people, different cultures, different personalities, different people who enjoy different types of games. And when those reviews come out, we can see what name is attached to that game, and then we can just form our own opinions on it. So I don't really think we need to, look at IGN as like just one entity. It's an entity with multiple different people. So,
Coz, you've been quiet. Please round it off for us so we can get back on topic. I don't know how this happened, but
it's
yeah.
all about,
Anyway,
you know how I feel about you reviewers. Your
what do you mean
kind.
you reviewers.
Your kind.
What
Jeez.
specifically?
Nah, if I
Well, whatever.
depended on reviewers for anything, I would not play games because they would, based on reviews, most of the games I'd be playing would be things that I just don't like.
Damn.
That's fair.
That's an indicting statement on just reviewers. That very blanket and harmful statement, Cozy. Like, I am hurt.
I'm just
My heart is
saying
broken.
the best recs I get are from random people. Well, not random, but friends who are like, this is the exact kind of game I know you'd like.
Appreciate you calling me a friend, Cozy, because I've made some awesome recommendations for you. So
Yeah,
you're welcome.
you made
You're welcome.
great recommendations.
All right, let's get back on topic, guys. Let's try. Let's try. 4 out of 10 notwithstanding. Anyway, Bungie tells Destiny fans, "We know we've lost your trust amid layoffs and delay reports." So this is from our newly beloved videogamechronicle.com. Writing on its website, Bungie has called this week, and I quote, "one of the most difficult in our studio's history." This has been one of the most difficult weeks in our history as we've parted ways with people we respect and admire. We've spent this week supporting one another, including those who are at the studio, as well as friends and colleagues who no longer are. We want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall and recent seasons, as well as your responses to the reveal of the final shape. We know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny needs to surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change. We want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall and recent seasons, as well as your responses to the reveal of the final shape. We know we have lost a lot of your trust. Afterwards, we'll begin to unpack our team's bigger, bolder, and brighter vision for the final shape, as well as the bridge we plan to build to take us all out of this darkness and into the light. Cozy Beluga, as our in-house dev, please give us your thoughts on this topic.
Oh my goodness. They just this screams, I mean, PR. This screams PR. Their fans are unhappy, and the fans, and then beyond that, they've got like, you know, these layoffs, and it's like everything's going wrong right now. So this is the best we can do is give you a statement, you know. The best we can do is give you a statement. It's like, come on. But I also think layoffs, it would be interesting to look at where the areas they were laying off people from, because I think people forget that not everyone is necessarily on the team that's actually making games. You know, you probably have people that are like, oh yeah, my job is the ads, and my job is, you know, those kind of people. Not to say that, haha, you guys should be laid off, but to say, like, let's look at where the layoffs come from. You don't want, like, oh, the creative writers or whatever. Like, oh, they're all laid off en masse. Like, that spells trouble. But, you know, certain areas, it's, like, less troublesome. But I do think, like, this is, like, the biggest eye roll ever. Like, shut up.
All the way to the back of your skull.
Yep.
Tay, thoughts on Bungie's statement?
Seems pretty standard to me. They made some bad decisions, really strange ones, to be honest. You know, I think letting of employees, it's gonna happen. I think GameIndustry.biz said around 6,000 developers or people in the gaming industry has been let go. Epic has dropped a lot of companies has dropped a lot of employees recently. So I don't begrudge Bungie or anything like that. It's not personal. That's just them handling their business. But the way they did it was just really odd. I look at the way CD Projekt Red did theirs. I think they even let go of more people, but they gave them like maybe 4 months advance notice, 5 months. Like, hey, listen, this is happening, so you guys start looking. And even Epic, even though it was like imminent, they give them like a 6-month severance package. So there's a way you can do things from a PR perspective, and Bungie just went like scorched earth. They just got rid of everyone. So it's always going to be a bad look. There's nothing that they can say that's going to make people happy. The only thing they can do is buckle down and just release a good game, good DLCs, good expansions, whatever it may be. So that's pretty much it. I do think they can do it though. I think this is a talented team, and despite like I have a lot of friends who like Destiny, and they kind of say like Bungie's not really doing a great job, but in the same way, Hello Games turned No Man's Sky around, in the same way, CD Projekt Red turned Cyberpunk around. Like Bungie is well placed to probably do it. I do feel they probably had to downsize a bit because, like, if you look at their numbers, they had 1,100 employees last time I checked. So now it's probably like 1,000. Yeah, it's crazy. And you look at like other like live service games that are successful and healthy. Like Sea of Thieves has like 30 plus players, and that team was like 150 employees. You had Fallout 76. I think that team was 150 as well. You had what else is it? Elder Scrolls as well. I think that was 200. So I don't know how Bungie justifies having 1,000 employees. It just seems wild to me. And there was this line I was let me try and find it real quick. Sorry.
Well, while you find it, I just want to say, Rachie, why are you making me laugh to dark humor? Why are you doing this to me? I thought we were friends, bro. This is just bad. I tried to hold it in, but oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I got it now. So remember when Xbox was looking to remember when the leaks came out that all the studios that Xbox was looking to buy, and Bungie was on that list, but Microsoft put them as a risk, and the term they used was high burn rate. And that just means Bungie just blows through money so fast. So it seems like whatever they're doing with Destiny is just not sustainable. And I look at that employee number of like 1,100, and I think, yeah, you probably need to cut that down a bit. Now, that obviously sucks, but at the way they're operating, I don't think they're in a position to. I just don't think it's sustainable. So I understand why they had to do what they had to do. I just don't understand why their PR part had to be so bad.
Okay, I wanted to just let that comment go by, but the bad part wasn't the PR, dude. The bad part is that they not only fired people, they intentionally screwed people over by the timing of the firings. So they fired people and gave them health insurance for 1 more day.
Yeah, I think it was 3 months. I think it was confirmed to be 3 months.
Not everyone.
I hope so.
Not everyone.
I read it was a day.
I thought that was wild. The updated one that I saw at least was like a good portion, like 50% of them at least, was the 1 day. It's just a large swath of people that also got 3 months. But there is a big portion that just got the 1 day. Right? So there's that. Second, you took their shares. These people not only invested their time, they believed in you. They trusted in you, right? If you checked the leaked promises that were made by Bungie when they communicated that Sony was going to purchase, they sold these shares, right? They gave the staff a chance to buy in, and they were like, these shares are going to mature, and you guys will be able to probably walk out of here millionaires in a couple of years after we've grown with Sony and stuff. And in the fine print, and this is again a reminder to anyone that has an IRL job, read the contract. Read all of it. All of it. They screwed them out of their shares. These people left with nothing. They invested thinking that those shares were theirs. And they got screwed. And thirdly, how are you going to fire people with Christmas right around the corner, dude? It's right there, dude.
Cold-blooded, bro.
What are you doing? You couldn't wait until like March or April or something. It's November, bro.
Of like themselves, not in the business of being a charity. Always remember, unless you're running a company or it's like your family, you are you are disposable. You are disposable as those little cups that, the little office place, work water stations have, water coolers have. You are that disposable.
I really agree with that.
Don't ever remember. Don't ever let it forget. They'll big talk like we're family. We're on this. No,
we're family.
You're disposable.
Can I say that? I mean, that's true, and it's more apparent now than ever that you're disposable. You're 100% disposable. But the thing is, the reason Bungie specifically, more than anybody, is getting the backlash they're receiving for this is because when they were bought by PlayStation, they said this assures us this we can assure people that this will not lead to any layoffs. They promised that. That was a promise as soon as they were bought by PlayStation. In fact, they said that this will save us from having to do layoffs.
That's always a lie. That's always a lie. You are naive to believe that.
And the thing is, then they shouldn't be saying that.
Every company, when it gets bought out, will say that.
But the thing is, they shouldn't be.
Every company says that.
I think it's fine print though, because they said the purchase won't lead to any layoffs, but it wasn't because of the purchase. Everyone was laid off because they missed 45% of the target. That's a completely separate issue. Like PlayStation or not, they had to get rid of people.
Sure. And to Cozy's point also, yes, it's all PR. It's like making themselves look or trying to make themselves look good. It's like, sure, they're lying, but you don't be, in this case right here, they're giving out this apology or whatever. Or whatever you want to call it. It's like, don't tell me something and then not follow through. Just be honest. Or at least don't be mad when we finally understand that you weren't being honest. Don't be like surprised. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked, especially for Bungie. Don't be shocked that they're reporting that people are canceling their pre-orders for the final shape. I'm not, dude. I haven't really played Destiny heavy since 2019 early. I've gotten every single expansion. I got Lightfall just because I like to support Bungie. Just because they're like one of my favorite developers. I'm not getting Final Shape.
I can see why they were surprised though, because I feel like gamers buy games primarily because the game is good. Doesn't matter who the publisher is, or like Activision Blizzard had like record numbers last year, right? I mean during all that like not conspiracy, all the like allegations and everything going on. Like, I'm not going to talk about it here, but like there was some crazy stuff going on.
Call of Duty in 10 days.
Call of Duty did well. King was crushing it. So gamers just gravitate to good games, regardless of whatever's going on. So when Bungie says this, in their mind, they're thinking, but you don't even know if the game is bad or not. Like, what do you mean you cancel your pre-order? Because we let go of some employees. And I see where they're coming from, because it kind of gets into, I don't want to say cancel culture, right? It kind of gets into that kind of murky territory of like, well, I don't even care about your product. I just don't like the way you're doing things. So now I'm just going to punish you for it. I think I get how they feel that's iffy, right? Because I'm looking at like Cyberpunk, for example, right? We know exactly why that game didn't do so well, because the quality wasn't good. It wasn't because of the developers, just the quality of the game wasn't there. Same thing for No Man's Sky. So they're probably thinking, judge our game first. Don't just judge us because we had to let people go. I mean, like 6,000 people got let go this year in the gaming industry. So why are we getting severely punished? Okay, we didn't do it in the best way possible, but another reason why we can't do what CD Projekt Red did, or we can't give everyone a 6-month severance package, is because we missed our target by 45%. Like, we're broke. We ain't got no money.
I think the reason that, to answer that question, why they'd be asking, why are we getting punished when this is a common? I think the layoffs are just kind of the icing on the cake for Bungie. That the problem with Bungie since probably 2019 has been just the steady, almost kind of rapid decrease of quality on Destiny 2. Just like, I mean, the story doesn't make it. The story at this point makes no sense whatsoever. Really, like, it doesn't seem like they know what they want to do with the story. And every expansion they try to do something different and try to see if it'll stick, and it doesn't. This latest expansion is being the worst example, or the best example of that, I guess, where it's like, okay, you've proven to me that you don't know what you want to do with this thing. You just have no idea. And then on top of that, like I said, this was like the icing on the cake, was like, you promised all your employees that this wouldn't happen. It happens, and then you do it in a really scummy fashion, like Luke brought up, taking away their shares. You do it in the scummiest way possible, and then afterwards you come out here with this apology, and we're sorry. We know we lost your trust. We're sorry.
Sorry.
At no point did they say sorry.
Sorry.
Matt, that was a non-apology, right?
Exactly. It's not a real thing.
At no point in that statement did they say we are sorry. This is the equivalent, right? And it's a meme my wife sent me of a chick, or like your woman, right? Your wife or your girlfriend. She messes up. She doesn't come and apologize to you. What she does is she sleeps naked and uncovered, and just, it's right there. And then my wife, after she sends me the meme, she's like, we don't apologize. We just do this. Then we ask you, like, are you okay, or are you still upset? That is exactly what these guys just did. At no point where they're like, we're sorry, we messed up or whatever. We're just like, hey, we acknowledge this happened.
That analogy was loud as hell.
But they're like, okay, make a decision. This happened, right? But make a decision. Are you going to put down the controller? Huh? You gamers that have no self-control? How many times have you boycotted? How many times, in droves, in the millions? How many times have you guys gone on Facebook, Twitter, all these social apps talking about screw this and screw that? You uninstall, you make your videos of you uninstalling the crap, and then what do you do 5 minutes later? What do you do? Of course we don't respect you. We're not going to apologize to you. We know you'll be right back here. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said all that.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I think that's the thing, though. It's not necessarily true that they'll be right back, because I think
they will.
Exactly.
No, I think at some point you can disappoint the people that are still buying your game stuff too much, where they just stop coming back.
As a community, because I'm not talking about you guys here. I'm talking about as a community. We have no self-respect. We have no discipline. We don't have that thing of, you have insulted me, and based off of that, I will make concrete decisions and I will stick to them. We don't do that as gamers. Stop it.
I have a little pushback to that.
Bungie community does do that.
Well, I think I have a little bit of pushback to that, because I feel like we do that as gamers. Like, if we look at this year, a lot of games have been successful. 2023, like, it's been a great year, but games games have failed. Like, Gollum was trash. No one bought it. And I think when it comes to hurting your community, I think when it comes to like hurting your community, talking about like the way you treat your consumers, right?
No, I'm talking about what's Destiny? Is Destiny a game that releases every few years? It is one game that has a fixed community. I'm talking about games like Destiny. Talking about games
community
like Call
that
of
is
Duty.
dying.
I'm talking about games like Fortnite. Whatever it is, dog. What I'm saying is, people aren't going to leave. Destiny will be fine.
They
in 12
actively
months.
are. They
lost. They didn't meet 45%. Like, they're leaving.
No,
Today,
not today.
Not
Not
happy.
today, Lo.
They
Not
have
today.
been.
the last 2 years. Look, they've been actively going down.
They've been
every
hemorrhaging
year.
Players.
They do that.
I don't. Matt, I've spent too much time watching gamers talk and protest, and then watching them
bud.
talking protest about one game, right?
With Destiny,
and then watching those numbers explode for that specific game. I'm tired of seeing it. At some point, just like what Big Man Mo says, my favorite quote. What's my favorite quote? Past performance, right? Past performance of gamers tells me this is nothing but poppycock. Poppycock. It's hogwash. It's nothing.
Do you think
bitching?
Do you think the reason why that's happening is because people are a lot more vocal about what they don't like, but when it comes to putting the action in, they actually don't care that much? For example, I have friends who play Call of Duty, and they complain. But the truth is, they enjoy Call of Duty. They actually enjoy playing the game. It's just they like being vocal on Twitter and all this kind of stuff.
My brothers are always bitching to me about FIFA and the packs and the packs. What these motherfuckers do every time the new FIFA comes out. What do they do? Guess what they do? They pre-order the shit. And they're, in my opinion, they're a reflection of like 80% or 90% of the general gaming public. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, Destiny's screwed. Come on. Destiny is fine. Fortnite's fine. Call of Duty, they can make the install size. They can make the install size for Call of Duty 500 gigabytes. They can make the story 5 minutes. They'll be fine. We'll
see about Destiny in 2 years. We'll see about Destiny. We'll come back to that in 2 years. I don't think it's going. I think for Call of Duty, for other games, you're right, but Destiny is legitimately dying. The community is legitimately abandoning the game.
I heard World of Warcraft was dying a couple of years ago.
World of Warcraft's on a whole different fucking level than Destiny. It's not in the same ballpark. It isn't.
Matt, sorry, Ham, you've been real quiet, bro.
No, yeah, I was in the discourse just a little bit ago. I had to step back just a little bit, man. Damn.
I don't know. I think that it might be the difference between like the type of like game Destiny is.
Yeah, a little bit.
Versus those others. Those are new iterations, whereas Destiny just has those packs. Mm-hmm. And if the content they keep giving isn't delivering, people aren't going to be coming back to buy those packs to experience more of the game.
Yes.
Would you say it's like Halo Infinite in the sense that like when it first launched, when the multiplayer first launched, people were playing that then because the content wasn't good enough or there was lack of content, people all left. But then as a developer, when you start putting work into your game and you show it's a quality product, then people come through. So yeah. I look at Destiny like that as well.
Yes.
If they can step up, which I think they will, I'm optimistic about it. I don't play Destiny.
I hope so.
Yeah, same way. Because I mean, like, they're a very talented studio.
That comparison is that people are bitching not just because Bungie has been poor with their updates. People are bitching because they want to pretend like they care about the devs.
I'm
like
sure
you care about the fact that the devs got screwed. Stop lying. As soon as Bungie sits down and makes a good product, a decent product, and every one of you motherfuckers will be back. Stop.
I agree with that.
I agree too.
I 1,000% agree with that. I just wonder if that can happen. If they do, because they haven't, the last 4 years they have shown that they can't do that. So it's like, is the 5th year is that the one? Is that the one where they nail it? We'll see, but it doesn't. I have no faith. I don't have any faith that that's the case.
Oh, man.
All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
Xbox Series X and S has outsold PlayStation 5 in Japan for only the 4th time. This is again from our dear beloved VGC. According to Famitsu's weekly charts, 2,903 Xbox Series X and 398 Series S consoles were sold in Japan last week, a total of 3,301. quick side note. This is not on the article, but quick side note. This is funny because every time we talk about the console, the Series X versus S, almost everyone is talking about the S outselling the X. But the comparison here is just day and night. 2.9 versus 300. It's very funny. Anyway, going back to the article. By comparison, 2,700 PS5 consoles and 216 digital consoles were sold to a total of 2,933. There may be extenuating circumstances surrounding these numbers, as on previous 3 occasions, Microsoft's console outsold Sony's. The PS5 had stock issues in Japan. In a 1 week, a long period in May 2022, Xbox sold 6,200 units, whereas the PS5 sold 2,600 units. This was replicated again in 2022. Perhaps people are holding off buying one as PlayStation prepares to release its new PS5 Slim model. All of the above has no bearing on the sales of the Nintendo Switch, however, which continue to dominate in Japan by a country mile. This week alone, the Switch sold 66,000 units in Japan.
Damn.
Taking the console's lifetime sales in the country to over 31 million. Just Japan, 31 million. Tay, what's your take on the Series X and S outselling the PS5?
I think it's good, but I just think there's probably different factors, like you mentioned. One of them being that the PS5 Slim is probably coming out, so that's like, it just makes sense to hold off on it. It could have been lack of games coming out in Japan as well for the PlayStation, and then I think the Xbox had like a Dragon on Game Pass, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. So I think that could have played a role as well. I think overall Xbox, like, I don't think we're going to see too much of this. I think next gen is probably going to be Xbox's best bet going to Japan. I initially thought it was going to be, this generation.
Better than 360, because the 360 was pretty solid.
360 had...
Not in Japan.
360 was...
It was their best. It was their best in Japan.
It was the best in Japan.
It was their best selling, but that doesn't mean it was good.
Yeah, and I feel like I felt with the Series X and S, they should vastly surpass the 360.
But what do they offer?
No, but that's the thing, though. They have experience, and when they speak about Japan, they seem like they're taking it very seriously. So I was quite surprised when, like the first one that comes to mind is like, where's the exclusive like Xbox first party games that are Japanese? It doesn't make sense that you want our market, but you're just dependent on games already released on the PlayStation and just put on Game Pass. Because I think like, to take Japan, you actually need to surpass what PlayStation is doing. Because when it comes to a equal setting, they will always surpass you. They will always pick the PlayStation over you. So, was it Blue Dragon, the Xbox 360 games that were Blue Dragon? There was like 3 or 4 that I can't remember, but they were exclusive games. And the first thing that came to my mind is like, why don't you just make a remake version of that?
Because it's probably not worth the investment.
But you're investing in Japan, though.
Investing, you don't. When you want to invest in something that is not going to get you a great return, because let's be honest.
No, but hold on. If you're getting Persona on Game Pass, you're getting Like a Dragon on Game Pass. You're actually talking about getting all these Japanese games on Game Pass. You can't have assets. And then they hired them. What's this lady's name? Mena Sato Katie, and I think that's a good hire because she comes from PlayStation. But again, I'm thinking, why didn't you hire her 4 years before when you're planning for the Series X to launch in Japan? Why are you hiring her 3 years into the generation? So then she's going to be effective 2 or 3 years later when the generation is pretty much done. So there's some
I see what you're saying.
Here.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like it has to do with allocation and actual seriousness versus what they were just saying versus what they were willing to do now. So if we look at Xbox before this generation, just ramping up to it, we were, knowing Xbox was coming out with a console, but then all of a sudden we got slapped in the face with Bethesda, right? as an acquisition. So it's not that they really, it's kind of like, and I'm going to call it like I see it on this one. I don't know how many people will love this, but they kind of faked it until they made it a little bit, right? So they're like, oh, we've been working in this. We've been working hard. And I'm sure they have been in a way, right? Mm-hmm. But did they really have the support they needed compared to the support they have now? No, not at all. So, I feel like this generation, we all as customers think the push is now in Japan, but really it's this generation that is the push for Xbox as a whole. So like, so last generation, in exactly kind of the way you see it with a lot of these generations in games, their best foot forward in the initial part, or at least the first few years of the next generation, is based off of what they did in the last generation. So you'll see a catapult in some sort of way, some catapults shooting real far, like I'd say PlayStation with the PlayStation 4 jumping into the PS5. That was like a rocket shot, right? Because it was like, yo, you just had a game of the year literally in Last of Us 2. Ghost of Tsushima was the next one fighting for it. You put out a Spider-Man game that is that's on PS4 as well, but it's based off of the remastered, just with a new character. So the momentum was already made last generation to push into this one. Xbox's momentum in Japan was non-existent last generation. So they made all their momentum at the, or they attempted to gain momentum at the beginning, and here they are now. And I'd say their momentum is in the right direction. But as you were even saying, Tay, I think it's the next generation as to where we actually see, yo, Xbox and Japan are like this, son, compared to where we thought they should be further than they are. But as you see, and as you even acknowledge, they don't even have any games from really over their first party at all. I mean, unless you want to call Tango, but I mean, that came out as a PlayStation exclusive before it even came over to Xbox. So this is the generation of putting what, I'm sorry, what's that?
Hi-Fi Rush? You're talking Ghostwire Tokyo. My bad.
Yeah. I'm talking about Ghostwire Tokyo. So this is the generation of making the push, and then I think next generation, or even halfway into the next generation, is when they can feel like they can put their flag down.
But serious question though, you talk about Ghostwire Tokyo, but where is that? But look at where the games are selling. You just need these people to make games, but you have to look at where the games are actually selling.
I think it's all about presence, though. Wouldn't you say? Like,
I mean, presence is good, but if it's kind of a waste to throw that much presence for whatever crumb.
Well, for example, like Xbox could make a JRPG game, right, and it could sell better in Europe and in the Americas, but it's still going to give them some substantial push in Japan. It might not be as big in Europe or America, but at least you're getting that. At least you're actually mingling with the developers, and then with those developers, you get connections, right? So for like even like the lady I just said, I think her name was it Katie? I can't remember. But having those connections allows you to get into more doors. Like, being friends with Sega allows you to get into conversations with more developers and things like that. So the games don't have to listen, the new Persona game could do better in Europe. But I think for the Japanese audience to see them being represented on your platform, it makes you a viable console.
You know what would help? They'd probably like Viva Pinata.
Right. And on that note, Tay, please pick a winner for the $10 voucher this week.
What? It's Rhea, true.
No,
Sure,
stop it, Coach.
when we were having
Yo.
the Destiny conversation
I
about
don't think Viva Pinata would do well.
No.
when we were
Go
having
ahead,
the conversation about Destiny back and forth, Big Madmo says, "I blame the Series S for this." Yeah,
That's not bad.
Yeah,
Probably is the Series S's fault, honestly.
100%.
Right. So Big Mad Mo, keep being mad, bro. Keep being mad. You know what to do. Reach out to Ham on Twit. Give him your details, console, region, and we'll hook you up. Before we knock off, Matt, plug your stuff, bro.
Oh shit. You can follow me on Twitter at MattLikesGames. I do videos on YouTube and I have a podcast as well. Mondays and Fridays are videos at 11 a.m. It's Matt Likes Games on YouTube. And then on Wednesdays, I do a podcast with Ham Solo called the 2-Player Podcast, 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. So check that out. And that is where you can find me.
All right. Cozy Beluga, spelled COSYBELUGA. You can find her on Twitter. You can find her on Twitch. She doesn't always stream, but when she does, it's quality stuff. She eats some weird stuff. She says some weird stuff. Good times.
Yeah, I got crickets.
Oh no.
Yeah. Cozy also has a comic book coming out on the 26th of January. Make sure to save up that moolah. It's $100 a pop. I promise it'll be worth it. Ham is in the comic book. I'm in the comic book. Matt's in the comic book. And Cozy will put in a special signed signature if you pay the $100. As for TSWS, we do bullshitting every Friday, same time. Mondays is the crossover. 1 week it's Ham. It's like an alternating episode. 1 week Ham's on TSWS with K Mega. Then the other week he's on K Mega's channel. Tuesdays is the lowdown with me and Ham. Wednesdays again it's a day off on TSWS, but you can hop on Matt Likes Games channel to watch Ham and Matt do the 2-Player Podcast. Thursdays is Behind Them Sticks, where Ham reaches out to all types of people, from the dregs of the gaming community to like the creme de la creme. Next week, it's Jez Corden himself. Y'all need to reach out. It's going to be a good time. I think. And yeah, Fridays, we're here. Tay, please tell the people where they can reach you.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. That was it was a real good time.
Thanks for coming on.
Love talking.
Yes.
And you guys can find me at Taye Talks. That's TAYETALKS on YouTube. I do analysis content basically on some RPGs or adventure games. Right now, my next feature is going to be on Starfield. I'm looking to kind of tick out the Crimson Fleet, so then I can finish off with that. And then N7 is coming up. That's Mass Effect.
N7 Day.
Yeah, I'm looking to drop some content on that, probably some analysis videos as well. The channel's primarily, I won't say primarily a Mass Effect content channel, but there's a very heavy focus on Mass Effect and other games.
What? Why wasn't I told about this beforehand?
Yeah, I'm a big RPG fan, so yeah, you're gonna see a lot more RPG content from
Space RPG. All right.
There aren't enough space RPGs.
Yeah. Also, I noticed you said Taye, not Tay.
Yeah, Taye is like the way you pronounce it, and like at some point,
this whole time we've been mispronouncing your name.
The funny thing is, I mean, that's true, but like, there's many people. So most times I just say Ty, but it's Taye.
Come on, brother, you should have told us. Yeah.
No. It's like it's gone to the point where it's something you kind of get used to. Like, so like this is going on for years now, so it's all right.
No, it's fine. Well, I will pronounce your name right, Taye. All right. Apologies. It was not on purpose. I promise. Next time we have you on, it's Taye from everyone. All right. Even in the chat, you guys should type your name with the accent as well. All right. So before we hop off, I need to do the last point. Let me try and be clear and concise. Last point. Bungie, y'all messed up. Just own up to it. And then we can move on. As long as you continue to pretend like this was just a little misstep and you didn't destroy lives and you weren't insensitive and you didn't con people out of their shares, as long as you continue to pretend like this is a nothing burger, we will continue to point it out. Sure, the majority of us are still going to buy your games. We're still going to pay for the battle pass. We're still going to engage with you financially, which is still going to be scummy until you own up to this. All right? Thank you for listening.